afternoon, fellow Conservatives, friends and delegates.
Good afternoon.
It's an honor to stand before you today to deliver the Treasurer's Report for our student party. First, I'd like to... Oh, that's okay, don't touch. It's very boring. First, I'd like to thank each of you for your dedication and support throughout the past year. Your contributions have been instrumental to advancing our mission. Although I formally returned to this role on the 1st of September, a mere 20 days before the writ dropped, I was able to strategize, budget, recruit, and implement a finance team that allowed us to outperform our competitors in several key metrics. I do not expect to have time for Q&A today. However, I have Zoom meetings with RA treasurers every Friday at noon, and we discuss ongoing business and have Q&A, and I welcome any of you who are interested to attend. A few takeaways that I would like you to listen for in this report as I expand are: we're the most efficient party, dollars to votes. We spent 30% less than the NDP in 2024 and achieved a similar result. By the numbers, we are not the underdog anymore, and it was not a one-time success. Donors continue to feel motivated to contribute even after the election. We are playing chess, not checkers. The party's election budget did not cost our donors anything. I'll expand on that. We are building, not burning. Donations for 2025 and onward can go entirely to building the party present and future. You don't have to worry about debt. And finally, our future prospects. The Conservative Party has the potential to be the #1 party in British Columbia for a very, very long time, forming governments more often and out fundraising other parties. Let me begin with a financial overview. In 2024, the Conservative Party experienced unprecedented growth. Here's a brief rundown of our financial health. Our total revenue for 2024 was $6,387,877.92. Broken down quarterly, it tells a wonderful tale of growth, especially when compared to our competitors. In quarter one, we thought we were doing amazingly well with a humble $383,000. In quarter two, that leaped up to $1.1 million. In quarter three, we were the highest earning party at $3.4 million in donations. And that didn't stop. In quarter four, we were still highly competitive at $1.5 million. By comparison, the NDP in quarter three only brought in $3 million to our 3.4. And in quarter four, they brought in $1.7 million to our 1.5, which is competitive. But silver lining to that, even though we didn't quite beat them for the quarter, is that our year-over-year growth for that quarter was by a factor of 5, and they were slightly down during an election year. Expenditures. Our major expense in 2024 was the general election. We spent $4.7 million in election expenses subject to limits. These are also known as RIT expenses. These included $3 million in advertising, where we get to keep the intellectual property assets based, and $737,000 in research and data. We get to keep the supporter and donor ID data produced from this process as well. So these are both assets that are critical to our future fundraising goals. We spent almost $700,000 in salaries and benefits. We had a very large team. There were 7 days a week and well into the night each night, including myself. And I applaud them. Those were long days and weeks. But we were able to keep our costs down with contracts. We can pay people hourly. We spent $170,000 in travel expenses. This was largely the leaders' tour group during the period, and they did a phenomenal job. Additionally, we spent $372,000 in election expenses that are not subject to limits. This includes professional services such as our auditor, accounting support, and legal. Legal was a higher expense than anticipated this cycle at 50% of this expense category, but unfortunately, it was unavoidable. In non-election expenses, we spent $279,000. This reflects our basic operational overhead during the year, including our website, fundraising costs, staff wages, and so on. But what's notable about this line, $279,000, is that the NDP reported in their 2024 report that they spent $3.8 million to our $279,000. That should give you a hint of how much more efficient we are. We're going to spend more going forward, though. Another key takeaway from this part of the report, the party's election budget did not cost our donors anything. Now, let me explain why I say that. I developed a strategy that I called playing chess, not checkers. My financial strategy was that the $5 million central campaign budget could be covered 100% by loan. We would spend the bulk of it during the RIT period, and then we'd be able to claim the 50% reimbursement for elections in BC, and the remaining principal and interest would be covered entirely by the annual allowance, which is also called PERGOSA. Using this strategy, we maximized the amount of donor funds that we were able to transfer to the local candidate campaigns. So donor funds were spent locally on the ground. All future donations to the party can be for future business, as a loan and its interest can be paid for entirely by subsidies, if we choose. We also have the option to aggressively pay back the loan in as little as 1 year, based on our projections. Or we can wait and we can pay it over a 30-month period. Another key takeaway is that we are the most efficient party, dollars to votes. We spent 30% less than the NDP in 2024 and achieved a very similar number. Bruce has always got my back. Love that guy. All right. So in total for the year, we spent $9.3 million to the NDP's $13.5 million. That's a big difference. And yet, in terms of voter turnout in the 2024 general election, we earned 911,142 votes. They earned 944,463 votes. A nail-biter election. And yet, at 30% different, our cost per vote was $10.25, and theirs was $14.29 per vote. We are 30% more efficient. That's not just double digits, that's huge. Our financial health, our current financial status is sound. Our balance sheet today shows assets in cash of $1 million on hand. In terms of liabilities, we have a $5 million syndicated loan with RBC, CIBC, and Toronto Dominion Bank that we are going to repay per the payment schedule and the terms that I discussed earlier. Looking ahead, we aim to enhance our fundraising, creating a new normal where we out-fundraise the NDP each year. I think it's possible that we could raise $2 million every quarter. We will continue cost management, ensuring that we maintain our advantage of efficiency in our operations without compromising our growth. We will invest more in local communities to strengthen our grassroots support. I'd also like to do some acknowledgements. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our donors, to our volunteers, and especially our finance team for their meticulous work in managing our resources. Without your commitment, we wouldn't be in the position we are today. Particularly in the audience today are Emeritus Treasurers Sasha Peter.
Woo!
We have Stephen and Alex Froelich, who are part of my finance team. Ben Lanyon and his team, who provide outside accounting support, and our auditor, Dana Chan. As we move forward, I encourage each of you to continue your support, whether through donations, volunteering, or spreading our message. Every bit counts in our mission to lead British Columbia towards a more conservative, more prosperous future. My final takeaway is that the Conservative Party has the potential to be the #1 party in British Columbia, forming government more often and out-fundraising other parties over our lifetimes. I said this when I made projections following the 2020 election 4 years ago, and we have far exceeded what I thought was possible, a short 4 years later. I look forward to the year ahead. As a final bit of business, we have a legislative requirement under the Societies Act to move a motion approving our choice of auditor for the year. I very much want to continue with Chan Nolasad votes. That's Dana Chan and her team. I will need a mover and a seconder.
Brian Tepper.
See Brian Tepper, second Judy Vankovich. Thank you very much. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you, everyone. Motion carries. I also want to make mention of my friend Daryl.
Yeah.
I wish that Daryl Sayers could be with us today. Thank you for your attention, your trust, and your ongoing commitment to our cause. Let's keep pushing forward together.